What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a special edition of Hoggie's Beer Reviews. And what makes this a special edition is that I'm not reviewing one beer, I'm reviewing three. And I'm lumping them together. I'm calling this my review of the Canadian Macro Lagers. And I must confess, this did not play out the way I wanted it to. I was originally going to review the beers of Molson Canada, Molson Coors, because there is a liquor store in my neighborhood that sells all three of them, Molson Canadian, Molson Ice, and Molson Golden. And when I went to pick them up, they were out of Golden. So I figured, you know what, I'll stick with the Canadian theme, I'll make do, and I picked up some Labatt Blue. So, see, that's the thing. Molson has those three popular beers down here, but the other large Canadian macro brewery is Labatt. So I figured, what the hell, I'll mix that in, and now I have the Canadian macros. Two Molson beers and Labatt Blue. Specifically, Molson Canadian, Molson Ice, and Labatt Blue. So, you know, that's today's review. I know that I've had Molson Ice once or twice in the past, and you know, most of my regular viewers know my history. Before I got into craft beer, I just used to drink beer, you know, from malt liquor to, you know, Bud Light, Miller Lite, and whatever else will get you fucked up, basically. So I remember I used to hang out with a certain friend a lot, and he had some neighbors, and they always drank Molson Ice. So at the very least, I had it through them, one or two bottles at some point back in 03, 04, something like that. Anyways, but Labatt I don't think I've ever had, and Molson Canadian I'm pretty sure I've never had, so I'm just lumping this together. Most likely this will be a two-part video, but this is Hoggie's review of the Canadian macros. And I mean, Molson and Labatt, you know, they're the big boys. Molson is actually now Molson Coors. They merged with America's Coors Brewery, and they are now one big badass company. I believe Molson Coors is the 5th largest beer company in the world. And Labatt is owned by InBev. InBev, of course, the European and Brazilian mega company, mega corporation or whatever that bought Budweiser. So Labatt is now part of InBev. So you have Molson Coors and InBev. The Canadian macros, they're no good. They're no better than the American macros, but I figured I'd give them their fair shake and review them. So I'm going to edit this down a bit. This was the intro. The next thing you'll see will be my review for Molson Canadian. So just stay where you're at. I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. And as promised, this is the first review of the three, and this is Molson Canadian. I believe this is the most popular Molson beer sold in the States. Molson Canadian, it says lager, beer, lager, beer. Okay, imported Canadian water, barley, no preservatives. Right, okay, and yeah. So nothing special here. But this is your standard Molson lager. I've never had this, at least not that I can remember, but I've always been curious to see what the Canadian beers were like. Sadly, all the Molson beers and Labatt, they're all adjunct lagers. They're basically Budweiser from up north. Punching it up on Beer Advocate, Molson Canadian Lager receives a C overall out of 404 reviews. The Bros actually give it a B-. And it is Molson Breweries of Canada, which merged with Coors and is now Molson Coors, of course. The style is categorized as an American adjunct lager, and it is 5% ABV. That's what Beer Advocate says. Now, adjunct lager, of course, is a beer brewed with either rice or corn or some kind of cereal grain, you know, something, an extra additive used to cut the flavor. I wonder if this will be corn, like all the American. Well, Budweiser uses rice, Miller uses corn, Yuengling uses corn, etc., etc. So yeah, I'm wondering what that'll be like. So, I mean, I've never had Molson. I've been curious about it for a long time. So let's just get right to it. And just to do something different, I'm breaking out my Gordon Biersch glass because I've never used this before in a review. Is that dirty? What is that? Okay, should be clean. I've never used this in a review because I haven't yet reviewed a beer from Gordon Biersch. From what I hear, their beers aren't that great, so I keep putting it off. But I do like their glass. The glass is compliments of my buddy Howard, manager over at Hurricane Wings. And I like the glass. Thank you, Howard, for the glass. And I do like Gordon Biersch's logo. If you can see, it kind of has a fat individual standing there holding a mug of beer, and it says, "Never trust a skinny brewer." So I do like that. I can get behind that. So since I've never used it before, what the hell, do something different. Use it for the Molson Canadian. Now, this looks like a twist off, and it is a cool white cap with the red maple leaf on there, so I wouldn't mind keeping that. Yep, it's a twist off. Alright, well, I'll be keeping the cap anyway, and let's pour this right into the Gordon Biersch glass and see what the Canucks have to offer. Now, while this settles, I will say, since I got into good beer and craft beer and started reviewing beers, I've had several Canadian beers. About 3 or 4 of them were from Unibrew, a Canadian craft brewery that does beers and Belgian-style beers. And the other one would be Moosehead, which is actually a pretty good little lager. So I've never had the Molsons or the Labatt's, first time for everything. So okay, Molson Canadian, light golden. This is about a hair or 2 darker than straw. I mean, this is a very light colored, it's a very light beer color, very light yellow color, clear as all get out. I can see right through it, and there's a lot of active carbonation, and what little head formed when I poured it is now all gone. Matter of fact, as I said it, it was just dissipating. You'd think it might leave a skim on the beer, but not even. So that's, doesn't bode good for the beer. Alright, well. It smells like a cheap beer. It smells like an adjunct lager. It smells like your typical Budweiser, Miller, Coors, Busch, Natty kind of smell. Not a very strong nose. Not a lot going on there. Smells like beer, and I'm getting kind of that corn smell, the corn veggie smell. And that's about it. Not much else in the nose, so let's just get right to the taste. Corn. It's very light bodied, as you would imagine. There's a little prickle of the carbonation, which there's not that much left, I guess. But there's a little prickle of the carbonation right up front. You get that little bite, and then you just kind of drink it down like water. There's not much flavor, there's not much taste, there's not much anything. And then towards the back end, you kind of get that corn, beery kind of cheap, crappy fucking flavor. I'm trying to figure out which American macro, Bud, Miller, Coors, and their derivatives. I'm trying to figure out which one this reminds me of the most. I guess the logical answer would be Coors, because it's Molson Coors now. But I haven't had that many Coors, or Coors beers. You know, Keystone and, or what is that other... They have another cheap beer that they don't sell around here that I know Coors makes. But regardless, I haven't had that many Coors beers in my day, so... I'll leave it at this. If Natural Light, okay, and Milwaukee's Best Premium Lager had a baby, this would more or less be it. It is a standard adjunct lager. It tastes like corn. There's no head retention, no flavor, no hops, no malt, no nothing, just kind of a general beer taste and a bit of that corn veggie adjunct taste. It goes down smooth, and as much as right now this is kind of foul, if I just finished cutting the grass on a 90-degree afternoon and you gave me a 6-pack of these, I'd probably drink 4 of them before I even said thank you. That's what this beer is all about, just like just like every other American adjunct lager and light beer. So, to sum it up, Molson Canadian sucks. Even for an adjunct lager, it's a glass empty. I'm not even gonna fucking pull any punches. This beer sucks. I've had adjunct lagers that are a little better than this. So, sorry Canadians. Although I'm pretty sure the Canadians aren't crying over Molson. They know it sucks and they drink better Canadian beer. So to my Canucks, I'm with you on saying your macros are garbage, just like our macros are garbage. So anyways, I'll finish drinking this anyway, and then move on to the next review, which will be Labatt. Stay tuned for that, and if you're going to stop watching here, then just cheers. But don't stop here. Wait for the next one, alright? It's coming up.